Hello and welcome to Research, where we talk about business case studies, social issues, and industry analysis. This video is the second and last part of the duology Ashoka's Rajneeti and Secret of the Unknown Nine. We hope that you have watched the first part where we analyzed Ashok's thought process and tried to reveal the techniques he used to increase his social power. If you haven't, we recommend you to check it out. In today's video, we will talk about the secret society founded by Emperor Ashoka. To be clear, this secret society is considered to be a conspiracy theory and no strong evidence is there to say in details where this society is, who are the members, what they actually do, and any other details. So this video is based on minimal evidences and a lot of imagination. To give you a basic concept, Ashok chose 9 men and each of them had the duty to research on 9 different topics. The team had the duty to keep the knowledge safe from falling into public hands. One member had to hand over the research work to another new suitable member before his death. It is said that this society is still operational. The main motto of this video is not to find out where this secret society is or how to find them. Rather, we want to find out why Ashok actually wanted to know about those 9 topics and how can those knowledge help someone in today's world. So without any more delay, let's start. As I told you in the previous video, Ashoka did not like competition, so he always wanted to avoid that. Apparently, this gave birth to the secret society where Ashoka gave 9 men the duty to study 9 different topics, namely propaganda, physiology, microbiology, alchemy, communication, gravity, cosmology, light, and sociology. It is not clear when exactly he founded the society. Some sources say that he founded the society around 270 BC. If we consider the society to be started before Kalinga War, it is evident that Ashoka wanted to find out ways to win wars and influence people as easily as he could. Just a few years before Chandragupta Maurya founded the Maurya Empire, Greek ruler Alexander invaded India. It is very possible that Chanakya analyzed Alexander's character and war tactics to prepare Chandragupta for the upcoming future. Also, it is possible that from Chandragupta's time, Chanakya had this idea of creating such a secret society to expand the Maurya kingdom, which was actualized by Ashoka. Or it is also possible that Chandragupta Maurya and Chanakya created this society before Ashoka, but during Ashoka people just came to know about its existence. But if we consider this society to be started after the Kalinga War, then it is possible that the emperor wanted to hide some knowledge from falling into enemy hands. Some sources say that he wanted to hide such information because he felt that one can utilize these to cause destruction by revolting against the Mauryan Empire. Do you think it is possible that the actual knowledge about those subjects were in the hands of the people of Kalinga and Ashoka attacked Kalinga to get his hands on those? This is just a speculation. Suppose the Kalinga scholars knew certain unconventional knowledge of warfare. They gained it as they had good leadership, plus they used to trade with foreign countries. Ashok attacked and caused mass destruction to obtain that knowledge. Then he formed a secret team who will research further to build upon that knowledge base, so that even if someone gets their hands on the old knowledge base, Ashoka can stay ahead of them. But no matter when he founded the society, Ashoka wanted to gain control as easily as possible. Anyway, the 9 scholars were given the duty to research and protect unconventional and secret knowledge of the 9 subjects. Before death, each of them had to pass on the knowledge to someone he saw worthy of. At least this is what it is supposed to be, unless they already developed some type of life-lengthening potion. As an intelligent leader, Ashoka knew that knowledge is power. If you have read Chanakya Niti, you will know how much Chanakya emphasized on maintaining secrecy to achieve success in competitions. As someone who has been in close proximity of such a person, it is natural that Ashoka will advise the secret society members to maintain secrecy and not leave any evidences. So it is hard to find too many evidences of the secret society. There are some modern literary works which claim the existence of the Nine Unknown Men. One such book is The Nine Unknown by Talbot Mundy, who published it as a fictional adventure novel. Mundy was a British police officer in India during British rule. The novel tells that the secret knowledge was preserved by a devoted Catholic priest, Father Cyprian, and in the novel there are 9 protagonists who help the father save the book from 9 evil Kali worshippers who want to get a hold of the secrets and use the knowledge for bad deeds. The book says that the secrets hold knowledge of anti-gravity, genetic mutation, deadly combat techniques and more. Another book is The Morning of the Magicians by journalist Louis Pauwels and chemical engineer Jacques Bergier. Pauwels was French and Bergier had Soviet and Jewish origins. Bergier had an interesting family consisting of spiritual leaders and nuclear physicists. He himself took part in the French resistance as a spy, so both of them took interest in secrets around the world. In their book, they mentioned that a lot of things are fictional, but it can just be a way to hide secrets in plain sight. This book says that our Bharatiya scientists like Jagadish Chandra Bose and C.V. Raman were aware of this secret society and were in touch with them. The book also says that in 10th century, French Pope Sylvester II visited India and he met the 9 unknown men and learned about different subjects. Legends say that based on this knowledge, the Pope created some machineries, including a talking bronze head. The bronze head used to answer to his questions with yes or no. If you think for a while, this seems like some sort of a robot with artificial intelligence installed in its system. The system had a plethora of knowledge which helped the Pope. As per legends, the bronze head was created with occultism, and the actual answer giver was a demoness called Meridiana. So as you can see, occultism is closely related with the 9 unknown men. After the Pope died, the bronze head was supposedly destroyed, but it is also possible that it was stolen and someone hid it. The Morning of the Magicians further tells that around 1860s, French consul and writer Louis Jacoliot came along the secret society while his tenure in Calcutta. Jacoliot said that this society holds unimaginable knowledge regarding liberation of energy, sterilization by radiation, psychological warfare. Furthermore, he also said that the secret society is responsible for purity of river Ganga. The secret society made a secret temple somewhere underneath the river which is responsible for the sterilization properties of Gangajal. Louis Pasteur is called the father of immunology because of his contribution to vaccination technology. But before his invention, one of his assistants, Alexandre Yersin, visited Madras in 1890, where he came across the secret society and received knowledge of vaccination. This helped the scientists save the world from bubonic plague. Apart from this, there has not been much evidences of the secret society. It is natural because wherever this society exists today, they don't want limelight. If they want to contact anyone, they will choose only the top minds with positive attitude and those who have the ability to take action based on their advice. I once found a Quora post where one anonymous user shared his experience. This person said that his father used to work at the Advanced Center of Energetic Materials of DRDO. One day while he was chatting with his father regarding how can India counter foreign attacks and calamities, his father said that the Novagurus are there to help the country. The author of the post suspected that his father was referring to the 9 unknown men, but there is no further details available. Now let's talk about why Ashoka selected those particular 9 subjects that are propaganda, physiology, microbiology, alchemy, communication, gravity, cosmology, light and sociology. I primarily told you that the emperor wanted to win wars and create influence. But how can one use knowledge about these subjects in warfare and creating chaos? Propaganda is considered the dangerous of all sciences because by influencing people and changing perceptions, you can easily take control. When Ashoka started to spread the knowledge of Dhamma, he influenced people and made people change their perception about his previous violent nature. From a cruel king, he established himself as a compassionate one in citizens' perception. Propaganda is always used in Rajneeti. If you see today's society, the world is fighting based on ideologies and religions. No one can say for sure whether a politician is honest or a spiritual leader is honest. But a lot of people simply believe in narratives. Poems, songs, movie dialogues, political speeches, etc. can induce emotions faster than anything else. Furthermore, knowledge of propaganda includes creating fake stories and news to hurt people's feelings. An example of this is how the British rulers imposed Western education system in India, saying Vedic education is useless. In actual, they wanted to stop us from developing analytical thinking ability and leadership quality. Propaganda might not necessarily be a bad thing. It all depends upon the intention and the reason behind it. For the British invaders, Indian patriots were developing propaganda because they wanted freedom. But does that mean the freedom fighters are bad people? On the other hand, Khalistanis developed propaganda to spread fake news and affect our economy, which is a negative example of how propaganda can be used. Some of the most useful tools used in propaganda are books, posters, and even movies. Probably you have heard of how ISIS and other terrorist groups brainwash young Muslim people by showing videos of Muslims being tortured. In most cases, the videos are fake, but with storytelling and narratives, people are influenced. If you watch different advertisements on TV, those can also be propaganda, like how a company portray a food product to be healthy, but in reality, those can cause health issues. Propaganda is about hiding the truth and spreading lies to influence people to fulfill own agenda. By molding human psychology, one can easily persuade the mass and make people do whatever he wants. Physiology talks about anatomy, body functions, and surgery techniques. It is said that Ashoka wanted to know more about the subject because he wanted to know ways to kill enemies only by touching. This would have made killing much easier, especially when it comes to murder enemies silently and secretly. It is suspected that judo is created from few bits and pieces of this knowledge. This is possible by reversing nerve impulses by striking on carotid sinus and is referred to as touch of death. Traditional Chinese medical science and martial arts claim this to be true theoretically, and it is termed as Nimmak. A lot of movies have shown such fighting techniques, but there has not been any actual historical events where someone killed another person by touching. However, there have been few cases of death where people died after being hit on particular points. In one incident, a young man got hit in stomach 9 point during karate lesson. The person suffered a stroke after a week. In another incident, one man got hit in bladder 10 point and died immediately. Postmortem revealed that there was no internal bleeding and death was immediate. In the last 125 years, there were at least 20 reported cases where people died after receiving low intense hits in deep mark points on chest, abdomen, and solar plexus. As per an expert, Dr. Michael Kelly, such incidents are possible if chi of a person is disturbed by touching or hitting certain pressure points. Microbiology is about biochemistry, fermentation, and microorganisms. As per the Morning of the Magicians, Ashoka wanted the Secret Society to research about colloids. A colloid is a mixture of microscopic particles that are suspended in another medium. As an example, in milk, protein and fat globules stay dispersed in liquid. Some other examples are jelly, mist, and cream. Without centrifugation, it is not possible to separate the particles because sedimentation does not happen in colloids. Now you might wonder how knowledge of colloids can help someone in warfare. Let's think for a while. Our blood is also a colloid where the blood cells and minerals remain in plasma. When we get a cut, a soluble protein in our blood called fibrinogen turns into insoluble fibrin strands. Fibrin creates a mesh in the injured region and traps platelets. As a result, clotting happens and blood loss stops. Now suppose you invent an anti-clotting chemical and put it on your weapons, namely swords or bullets. If you hit your enemies with this, the injured region will not be able to clot bloods and your enemies will die of excessive blood flow. Another way can be this. Suppose if you create such a chemical that turns water into jelly-like substance. In war, you can use this chemical to infect the water resources of your enemies. Then very soon they might surrender as they won't be having any water to drink. Or suppose if you drop some type of biochemical bomb on your enemies. Upon explosion, the air of the region will turn into aerosol, a type of colloid, full of harmful biochemical viruses or other particles. If people in the region inhales that polluted air, then they will fall sick. This way, knowledge about colloids can be used in warfare. Alchemy is related to metallurgy, elixirs, chemical transformations, etc. We all have heard about philosopher's stone or Porosh Pathor that can turn anything into gold. One of the main reasons Ashoka was interested in alchemy is to increase gold wealth. At least this seems logical enough. If someone wants to fight a lot of wars, he has to create weapons, pay the soldiers and also repair things after the war finishes. For this one needs wealth, and if he can somehow turn stone or copper into precious metals like gold, then what else is needed? Another use case of alchemy can be related to creation of vehicles, especially flying machines, including those which can travel outside the world. Some 9500 years ago, Mahorshi Bharadwaj wrote an interesting book named Vaimanika Shastra, which talks about manufacturing aircrafts. One part of this manufacturing is about availing suitable metals that are hard and durable enough. The saint has mentioned manufacturing process of different alloys like Panchodhara Loha or 5 alloy metals. Such metals can only be crafted using alchemy. As you know, communication has always played an important role in warfare. In previous times, kings used to send confidential letters to allies, which, if got in hands of the enemy rulers, would have caused wars. This gave birth to encryption system. If you have seen the movie The Imitation Game, you will know that during World War II, the Nazis developed an electromechanical device named Enigma, which they used to encrypt messages and send to ally bases. A scientist and mathematician named Alan Turing created a machine named Bombay that could decrypt the Nazi codes, which helped the British to gain valuable intelligence to develop war strategies. Communication is not just about words, it is more about the tonality, body language, and making the listener read between the lines. If you see any great personality, they use their verbal and non-verbal communication skills to influence people. Humans have been experimenting with communication techniques since ages. Be it sending letters using pigeons or sending encrypted Morse code signals, there are many types of communication technologies that have been used during wars. In South African countries like Chad and Ghana, there is a band musical instrument referred to as the talking drums. When slave system was prevalent, the African villagers used these drums to send signals to faraway villages and make them aware about invaders and dangers. Different types of drum beats signaled different messages, and the European or American traders could not make these out. So the invaders forcefully banned manufacturing and use of such drums. In 21st century, modern technologies like SATCOM, Internet Protocol Router Network, and Global Information Grid are used during war. In our daily lives also, communication technologies are necessary. You will need mobile towers that receive and transmit your phone calls. You will need fiber optics and routing mechanisms to access the internet. You will need cable and satellite broadcasting technology to watch TV. In today's society, there is a new threat called deepfake AI, which is used to create fake videos and images of influential people. Suppose you see a deepfake video of your president promoting a drug saying it is beneficial. Given the fact that artificial intelligence is getting better and better at content creation, it is hard to detect such fakes, so people can be influenced and actually take drugs. Other modern technologies like quantum communication that can decrypt highly encrypted sensitive information, or brain computer interfaces where signals can be sent to brain using integrated chips or electrodes on skulls. These are cutting edge technologies that can be used for brainwashing or mind control. So now you tell me why Ashoka would not want to take a subject like communication seriously if he wanted to gain power and influence. Just like Samrat Ashok took decisions to fulfill his dreams, anyone can do so. But in today's time, due to lack of critical thinking ability and external influences, people are suffering from indecisiveness. That's why I have brought my decision making course. If you can make fast decisions based on critical analysis, you can save time and energy. It will avoid confusion and build up your personality. In this course, you will know 13 ways to make decisions properly and also an easy blueprint to take big decisions easily. Contact for scheduling individual or group classes. Let's be honest, we all have wanted to fly like birds at some point of our lives. Gravity is a force that attracts two masses towards each other. Humans have done a lot of experiments to defy gravity. In our ancient scriptures, we have seen mentions of Pushpakrath, which is basically a small-scale private jet or helicopter of ancient times. Previously, I talked about the Vimanika Shastra, which talked about manufacturing aircrafts. Bharat had such technologies at least 7,000 years ago because the Hindu epic Ramayana has mentions of the Pushpak Viman and proofs both literally and archaeologically that tell that the events of Ramayana happened 7,000 years ago. Apart from this, some scholars also say that technologies were also being used to defy Earth's gravitational force and travel in other realms. Our scriptures have mentions of 7 heavens and 7 hells, from where deities and demons came to Earth. So if we consider these realms as other planets or galaxies, then the only way to space travel is with a rocket or a spacecraft. So the knowledge of gravity is crucial for developing such things. An unclassified report on anti-gravity for aerospace applications published by Defense Intelligence Agency of USA talks about different theories with which one can attain anti-gravity. In simple words, if we can create an anti-gravity force in a space, then lifting an element will become easier. This means heavier items can be lifted easily, or a plane can take off easily using less amount of fuel. Some ways to develop such forces are rotating superconductors like aluminium, yttrium, barium, or iron pnictides, or atom trapping. Now let's step into the shoes of Emperor Ashoka and think of ways to use gravity in warfare. Suppose you can create an invisible sphere in an area where gravity can be controlled. If you increase the gravity, then it can slow down the army that is coming to attack you. If you decrease the gravity in an area, then it will be easier to use weapons like catapults. You can also change the trajectory of weapons thrown at your enemies, including missiles. You can also protect yourself from incoming weapons and missiles, because if gravitational force in an area becomes higher, then any weapon that will enter that area will get heavier and fall before reaching the destined location. Or forget about war. If you use anti-gravity technology to just levitate in front of people, that will be a good way to prove your godhood, won't it? The benefit of making people believe that you are a messenger or manifestation of God is that people will blindly follow you and you can make them do anything. Cosmology is about planets and stars, cosmic elements like black hole or dark matter and more. One daily use of cosmology is astrology, which is nothing but a calculation of the effects of planetary positions in our lives. Some of you might not believe it, but astrology is a type of science based on evidences. Like particular planetary positions result in particular situations in our individual lives or surroundings. Astrological knowledge can help one to predict upcoming good or bad times and thus help in decision making. As an example, suppose you come to know that your next 2 days will be very bad. This information can influence your decisions. You might stay low and not do anything risky. Many influential people take astrology seriously. As an example, Ram Mandir inauguration happened on 22nd January 2024 in Bharat, and the Pran Pratishtha activity started at 12:28 pm. The Shubha Muhurta was only for 84 seconds. Within this time, the Pran Pratishtha activity was started. As per the original Ramayana scriptures, Lord Ram was born during Abhijit Muhurta, Mrigashira Nakshatra, Amrit Siddhi Jog and Sarvarta Siddhi Jog. On the aforementioned date and time, all these auspicious periods got aligned. Another example of how cosmology relates to our world is the relationship between Jupiter-Saturn conjunction and global pandemics. Jupiter and Saturn conjunctions occur once every about 20 years, and it is seen that every about 100 years, when this conjunction happens, some major global pandemic happens. As an example, in December 1821, a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction happened and the world saw its first cholera pandemic that spread throughout India, Southeast Asia and East Africa. The pandemic lasted till 1824. After 97 years, in December 1918, same celestial event happened and the Spanish flu occurred and it took lives of 5 crore people. After 101 years, in December 2019, the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction occurred once again, and we all can see how COVID pandemic has changed the world forever. More than 70 lakh people died due to coronavirus. A young Indian astrologer named Abhigya Anand gave warnings about upcoming hard times in 2019. Cosmology is related to time travel as well. Einstein's general relativity suggests that under certain conditions, the curvature of space-time could create shortcuts or bridges known as wormholes. These hypothetical wormholes, if traversable, could potentially enable time travel by providing a shortcut between two distant points in space-time. Cosmology studies the evolution of the universe within this space-time framework, where the curvature of space-time is influenced by the presence of matter and energy. Such concepts also create possibilities to travel to multiverses and parallel universes. Thanks to science fiction and Einstein's theory, we all know that time travel is theoretically possible only towards future, not past. So if someone develops a time machine and goes to future, he can learn futuristic knowledge and gain competitive edge in present time. How do you think Ashoka would have used the knowledge of cosmology? Do you think he might have wanted to visit different planets and meet the aliens, or he wanted to visit different realms to meet different gods? Write your views in the comment section. I know it is hard to believe that light can be used in warfare, but there are some possibilities. There are some ways light and color can be used to influence people as well. Maybe you have heard of hologram technology. It uses optical principles like diffractions to create a 3D image of an item. Suppose you create an optical illusion of a hologram of a huge army in front of your enemies. Won't that scare the enemies? Maybe in today's time, military intelligence can easily identify such tactics, but imagine this happening during ancient Bharat. Such techniques might have worked. There is no evidence of any kings using holograms to win war, but there are some relevant cases where wars were won using mirrors. Greek general Demetrius used mirrors to create the illusion of a large army and scared his enemies to flee. Egyptians used shiny objects or mirrors to reflect sunlight or create blinding effects. As per some lore, In different wars in China and Greece, mirrors were used to concentrate sunlight and set fire on enemy bases. You might have heard of laser treatment where particular wavelength is amplified. In medical field, laser ray is used to cut tissue and heal diseases and anomalies. But this same technology can be used in warfare as well. Those of you who play action video games might be aware of how laser sight is used with guns to pinpoint targets. This technology is available in real world. There are also bombs that can be detonated using laser. Highly concentrated laser ray can blind people, and this technology is also used to send long distance signal. Color is nothing but different wavelengths of light. You might remember learning about prisms, which refracts white light into visual. Science has proven that different colors affect us differently. Red signifies anger, black means strength and seriousness, brown means security. These colors are often used in army dresses to psychologically affect the soldiers and intimidate the enemies, whereas colors like pink or purple are never used. Another good example of using color to influence people are movie posters. Horror movies often use dark colors like red and black, while comedy movies use bright colors like yellow and blue. Thus, colors can also become a part of developing propaganda. Ashoka might have wanted to learn this and many more ways to use light and colors to use in warfare and public influence. Sociology talks about culture and behavior of people or group of people. Certain type of people show certain patterns in their behavior. As a blunt example, middle class people like to have security and status, whereas the lower class people are more interested in money. The ultra rich people want to avoid buying liabilities. These are mere generalization, but to be honest, the world operates based on generalization. Sociology deals with segmentation of people based on demographic, psychographic, behavioral, and geographic attributes. Such segmentation can help in developing different particular propaganda and target each group separately. The best examples of this are advertisements you watch on TV. Any business wants to learn about their target customers and their buying behavior to create a marketing plan. As an example, suppose a company manufactures medicine for joint pain. The primary target customer can be old people over 50 who have a sedentary lifestyle. The income level of this customer group can help the company to decide a price. Sociology is an important tool to implement propaganda successfully. During World War II, USA appointed anthropologists to study enemy sites and develop targeted propaganda. US military produced and dropped millions of propaganda leaflets over enemy territories, tailored to specific cultural and linguistic groups, aiming to demoralize enemy forces and sow dissent among civilian populations. In Germany, these leaflets sometimes spreaded fake news about how the Nazis are losing the war. Sometimes the leaflets talked about uselessness of war and promised better opportunities if the Nazi soldiers switched sides. On the other hand, to Japanese citizens, the leaflets talk about how Hiroshima and Nagasaki were destroyed. Such strategies played a role in confusing and demoralizing the enemies. Another example is how the British colonial authorities in India used sociology data on caste and religious divisions to implement a divide and rule policy to maintain control. They introduced separate electorates for different religious communities like Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs. This institutionalized the division between these communities and pitted them against each other for political representation. The British often favored minority groups like Muslims in certain regions, granting them land rights, jobs, and political representation disproportionate to their population. This created resentment among the Hindu majority and deepened religious divides. Ultimately, Bharat was divided into India and Pakistan. It is inevitable that Ashoka wanted to use such strategies like divide and conquer, deceive and conquer, or decrease and conquer to gain advantage at war. For this, he wanted to know more about the sociology. If you have read the Hanuman Chalisa, you know about the Asta-Siddhis or supernatural powers Lord Hanuman possesses. While doing research on the topic of this unknown nine, it just came into my mind that many of this knowledge can be used to attain such siddhis. Like Anima and Mohima are about changing body size, and these relate to knowledge of physiology and gravity. Garima and Logima are about changing weight, and these relate with the knowledge of gravity. Prapti is about creating items from thin air, and this might be possible with alchemy. Prakammo is about teleportation. This can be done using cosmology. Ishitta is the power to influence the environment. This can be related to microbiology. Bhashita is the power to control others' mind and also talking with animals and birds. This has to do with the knowledge of sociology and communication. This is just a speculative relationship between the 9 subjects and 8 siddhis. There might not be an actual connection between the two aspects. Now I have come to the end of this video. If you have liked this discussion, please subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to like and share this video. We will meet again in the next video. Dhanyabad.